Hey guys, welcome to a new video. We're gonna quickly go through Bitcoin, Ethereum, some alts, and just my overall thoughts about the market currently. So, where are we at? Well, by the way, I'm drawing my range up here for Bitcoin. We're near the middle of the range, and we've just been chopping around near this 34K-ish area for a while now. It's good to note, like I drew two levels here because this initial wick on the squeeze higher went much higher on things like Binance Futures, which you can see here on 36. And for example, on spot, it didn't go much higher than like 35, I think. So that's why I feel like this is the main level to watch for the range high. And from there, I drew the range low being down here and the mid range being the middle of the two. So yesterday, yesterday we took out the range high on the futures pair. This was both on Binance and OKX, I think. Bybit is still quite a bit higher. It went to like 36.7 at the time, so that's still sitting here. It barely swept it though, so I'm not sure. Like, yes, it swept it, and it's gonna look like a double top or whatever you want to call it. Overall, I'm not too worried about this level in general. I'm mainly just watching this range and watching this unfold. Lately, like the past week or so, a lot of people have been getting chopped up here, and I've been saying, I think since like the day after this move, like we're probably gonna chill between 33 and 35k for a while. Well, so far that has been correct, and the moves in between here are quite volatile as well. I mean, for Bitcoin, compared to the volatility we had before, even these moves are like almost 1k moves up and down, and it happens like daily, maybe even two or three times. Meanwhile, altcoins are also quite volatile, so when BTC is up like a few percent or like one or two, alts are up like 5 to 10% or some even more. And the same happens the next day when BTC is down a bit, then alts follow that with like another 10% down candle. So it just shows, like, if you're trading at all, try to play the extremes. So, for example, the range highs or the range lows, same for alts. And don't have too tight of a stop loss unless you're scalping these moves in between, of course, but then you're also getting out quickly. Because there's a lot of people that are probably like swing longing or whatever, but they're putting their stops too tight. So in the end, you can see like most alts, that's Solana is, for example, an extreme example here, but which didn't have that many dips. But even here, like there's these drawdowns of like almost like 10% every time. And meanwhile, you can see the trend just keeps going up. So there's plenty of people that just enter here and then they put their stop like a few percent lower and they keep getting stopped out at these levels. And in the end, they miss the entire move. Like even this choppy move up did total to be around like 20%. And of course, the real move came after that, which was the massive move up here in the 40s. So that just shows you how having too tight of a stop loss currently, even if you're technically positioned correctly, can really hurt your profits. To easily journal and track your trades, consider trying out CoinMarketManager. It's as simple as connecting your exchange API to the website to get your analytics ready. Sign up using the link below, get a 14-day trial, and I hope you really enjoy it. I know I've been using it for a while and I can't go without at this point. So for Bitcoin, this is basically just the thing I'm watching, and I'm not too worried trading this at all until we either sweep the low or we accept above this range high and then keep holding it. So yeah, for now I'm just waiting here, and obviously I am watching BTC to know what to do for alts. So with Bitcoin sitting here at the middle of the range, I'm also not longing or shorting any alts. I'm fine with my spot holds how they are currently, and yeah, I'm just being patient here because I don't feel like getting chopped up during all this time after catching a good part of the move and giving back all those profits. So ETH basically the same thing, except for this did take out the range low here already, which is similar to this level here on Bitcoin where it front ran it, and ETH also took out the high here in this level where BTC also front ran it. So it shows you how ETH is a lot more volatile as it usually is, and it takes out these levels a lot more often than BTC does. And here, same for ETH, it basically hit the same level as this wick. Sorry, I said it wrong. It did sweep this wick later on, which was when BTC was trading here on the 25th. So yeah, this is more of a proper wick up here, like a proper liquidity grab. Well, I can't say the same for Bitcoin being just barely over that wick. Plus we have the Bybit wick, of course, a bit higher. So I think eventually we're going to take that out. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the short term or not. But that's good to keep an eye on. So for ETH, basically also in the range or a bit lower, trading below the mid-range. But yeah, it's you can clearly see, of course, this doesn't mean it's going to keep holding, but there's some demand here because we have all these wicks coming in here and then ETH getting bought up. ETH BTC is also relatively volatile. We have all these quick 1 or 2 hour candles up, which you can see here, and totaling to like a few percent, which doesn't sound like much, but for ETH BTC it's quite a bit. Seeing how big these market caps are, because this basically means ETH or BTC is moving 1 or 2% quicker than the other, which is quite a lot for these market caps. Overall, of course, this has been trending down since forever, and momentum seems to be stalling here a bit for the bears. Not sure if this is due for a bigger bounce just yet. I feel like it might be. Thing is, when the ETF arrives, hopefully it does. Of course, this is not a done deal just yet, but if it does, BTC is gonna shoot up and ETH BTC is gonna go down. I'm 99% sure that that's gonna happen if on the once the approval is being sent out. BTC is gonna be up and ETH BTC is gonna be down, similar to all the other alt BTC pairs. So the big question is, though, whenever that may be, let's say it's here at the end of November, which would be quite early. The question is, maybe ETH BTC does trend up before that. Then approval comes, you get this big nuke, but it makes a higher low in the end and then goes from there, for example. So that's something to keep in mind. But in the end, I don't think there's going to be too many people eager to allocate bigly into ETH just yet before this ETF. I think a lot of people are going to play it safe. They're going to wait or they're going to sit in BTC until the ETF hopefully gets approved. Then it gets approved, alt BTC pairs go down, and then they're going to start allocating into alts. I do think if it's going to go this way, like there's going to be a run on some of these alts, because this is basically been the trade everyone has been waiting for. First buy BTC, wait for ETF, then scale into alts. And I think a lot of people got the same idea, so we're going to probably see some volatile moves afterwards. Of course, the market will already be very volatile post ETF approval or whatever. So yeah, it's going to be exciting around that time. Obviously, I'll remind you again, this ETF is not a done deal just yet, and it could easily take the 10th of January, so like 2.5 months more. So if it's going to be 2.5 months of waiting, I could easily see a lot of stuff happen in between. Then onto the few alts I wanted to highlight. Obviously, Solana is the main coin that was in the spotlight the past week. We were watching this for a while now, because the market structure was up and this was looking okay-ish, even though, of course, this was basically a huge range. And the main level I was watching is like this $26 to $27 range, and I said like, okay, if we break this, we're probably gonna fill this gap to 38 to 39. Well, we did that. I did catch some of this move, took some profits, I think during this area, and then last of it around like 38, I think. Obviously, in the end, it did go a bit higher, but right now it's back to where it started. So from here on out, if this wants to continue, bulls would have to step in, I think, here and try to hold like these highs. This is the pre FTX collapse high. But yeah, if it can do something like this and then get its way up there, then we have another big level at 48 here. And after that, yeah, I mean, it's much higher already. For this to happen, I think either ETH BTC would have to make for or start bouncing pretty bigly, so alts get a big rally on, and of course BTC shouldn't lose like 33k or whatever. But yeah, you can see these things can go quick if there's obviously enough demand and the sentiment is good enough. I mean, this was basically a 120% rally in 19 days, so that's pretty massive for such a big market cap. And it just shows you how quick this can move once it does, and that's the case for all of these coins. Arbitrum, of course, you guys know I like Arbitrum. Still got a spot back from this. It did broke out of this wedge or channel or whatever you want to call it. Did also break above the $1 level, which is pretty important. But it got rejected back down. Currently retesting this diagonal, of course. So bulls would really need to step in here, because otherwise, I mean, if this falls back below where it's going to look pretty ugly. And then you do have this area up here, which should form some sort of support. But with this grab up here, like taking out these highs, I wouldn't really like the look of it. And these kind of things wouldn't be a reason for me to sell any spot or whatever, since it's more long-term orientated. But I would lose like a bit of hope in the short term. Having said that, I think today the Arbitrum grants start. So this is these tokens, these Arbitrum tokens, which are given out to all these Arbitrum ecosystem projects. I don't think that's gonna necessarily be bullish for Arbitrum itself, because these tokens are given out and they may get sold. Don't think it's gonna have too much of an impact though, but it might help these projects on Arbitrum, and it might also help the network activity on Arbitrum go up a lot, which could then, of course, gain some hype and momentum, and then from there on out, people might start allocating into the token as well. So that's good to keep an eye on. And then lastly, another high time frame chart is Lido, or Lido, or whatever you want to call it. It's still stuck here between, well, it's slightly below now, the daily 200 EMA, which is the blue line, and the MA, which is the purple line. And on top of this big support region, of course, this is a bit big, and just shows generally this is an area where a lot of demand and supply and everything hits each other. In the end, I do think this is gonna do okay this cycle. It's pretty big. I mean, everyone is using this to stake their ETH. But in the end, I mean, I want to see something like the doodle play out. So I want to see both of these, like trading above these and holding them, because so far you can see we had this candle. I mean, this didn't even properly close above, and it just went straight down. Basically the same here. So there's some proper supply up here that are selling into these rallies. So in the end, I just want to see this big trend line being broken, and then from there on out, I would be confident in us testing like $2 and higher. So basically, also just waiting for that. And there's no shame in just waiting a bit. I mean, these higher time frame charts are totally fine and give you a lot of ease of mind, I say, because you're not getting all these, or you don't have to worry about all these intraday 5 to 10% candles, and you can just wait for more confirmation, and it's not even that high up. Like, for example, Lido here, you're waiting like 10, maybe 20% or whatever, even if it does some kind of violent move like this, and then it consolidates here, and then I'd be perfectly fine with buying up here, for example, or longing, or whatever you want to do, instead of having to endure all this stuff. Even though, of course, in the end, if it goes up, it could be a better entry, but there's like no shame in waiting for these kind of moves to play out first, and then just chill and wait from there. Because who knows, maybe it just bleeds down again and does something like this, which is perfectly possible, and then you'll save yourself a lot of this to worry about. All right, that's basically it. So for BTC, basically just chilling, kind of the same for the rest of the market, as BTC is just sitting here and Yeah, I mean, we're definitely having a lot of volatility. I think there will definitely be plays every day to be made. There's going to be alts that are up and down a ton during this market environment, which is fun because it really rewards also researching into projects, but also looking for great setups to play out. And I mean, if you're early on something and before everyone else on, on Twitter or YouTube, for example, is talking about it, and you got some kind of thesis, this is the market environment that really also uh, rewards those things. If you're correct in your thesis, then at least there's liquidity and people willing to bid on these things, whether it's a setup or like a fundamental play or whatever. So I'd say this is the time to really wake up and put in all the work and things you've learned throughout the bear market and stuff. And obviously, don't overtrade this kind of stuff. But I mean, I think it's good to stay active because there's a lot going on, and I think that's only gonna get more and more in the next 1 to 2 years. All right, ending off. If you guys are looking for any exchange or whatnot, check out the partners below. Also check out Coin Market Manager to be able to track your trades, all that kind of stuff. I really like just seeing the equity graph of my trading and having a proper overview of everything. And with that, I'm signing off. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I wish you all the best of luck out there. Bye bye.